What are you wearing?
A Canadian tuxedo.
Canadian.
I'm a hockey player. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
To our Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
Presented by Scott Credit Union. Yours.
BlueNote fan report. Hey, hello. The Bunny fans asking, why am I doing this if there's no game? Because I'm a hockey fan, and it's always fun to talk hockey. Doesn't matter whether the Blues are in it or not. It's fun to talk hockey. I like talking hockey, and you know what? This is my social interaction with all the great people out there. I'm just kind of paying attention to what's going on. I didn't like post this anywhere, just kind of came online and figured I'd talk for a little bit. I'm on TikTok also. I'm trying to work on TikTok a little bit and figure some things out on that. Not sure how good I'm doing with that, to be honest with you. Got that wrong. Just trying to kind of see how things go and play it by ear as we're moving along. I kind of had to do this kind of a weird way. Oh no, it's Samantha. Oh, I know, Samantha. I know. Oh man, this game's starting to get cut wide open. Toronto was up 2-0. Looks like Florida has come back. Barkov has made it 2-1. Way to go. Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do different things. I want to grow my channels. I want to grow my persona. I want to grow who I am. I want to get better. I want to be better. I want to do better. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you guys. I don't know how long I'm going to be. I'm just going to see how things go. What I'd really like to do is figure out on TikTok how I can make it, I forgot what, oh, yeah. So how I could make it, to where it's like a stream key. So you're not, because you're actually seeing kind of you're seeing what I see usually, and I'm hiding some of it, but some of it's still there. And it's some of it's not stuff I think you should see or whatever, but it does what it is. I'm having a hard time. It's 2-1. If Leafs get a 3-0 lead, it's done in 5. I might be done. It might be a sweep if they get that. I had to get my hockey fill and watch IFF World Junior Champions from Slovakia and Sweden. Yeah, they had the under 16 going on, and then the World Championships will start. There's 4 Blues that are going. One would be considered. One Thunderbird's going. I don't think 2 are. I know 1 is. Yeah, Foska was never a Thunderbird. So Dvorsky's going for Slovakia. Foska's going for France, I think. And then Bennington and Shin are going for Canada. Those are the ones that I think are going. I remember something about it. Never thought the Leafs would make conference finals this year. I think it's Toronto, Edmonton, and 7. I don't think Edmonton. I don't think it's going to be an all Canada final. I really don't. We'll see. Little Devo. I do think Toronto gets there. I think Dallas is a better team than Edmonton, to be honest. That's just my feeling. Man, I am not seeing things good Oh, I don't, I don't think it will be. Shen is Team Canada. Devo is Slovakia. Yeah. I knew Shen and Bennington, I think, are going for Canada. And then Fosca's going for, that was a bad hit. Fosca's going for France, I think. So I could be wrong on that. And then Devo for Dvorsky for Slovakia. Right. Dvorsky's going to be an interesting player next year. I don't know if he's ready, but he may, and the Blues may not be. I don't think they're in a position to force him, but I mean, he's at that point. There's a couple of guys behind him that were drafted at the same time as him that I think are there too. The end of the year conference the Blues had was really good. And also, if you're on X, check out Guy_Bensing. I am yeah, see this, that's what I was afraid of. Some of this stuff is gonna show up, and I didn't want some of that stuff to show up. Oh, a couple people joined me. How you doing? If you joined, thank you on TikTok. I got to remember to look down at the TikTok thing. I don't look down at it as much as I should. But you know what? I'll take it what I can get. And if people pop in, they pop in. If not, not. Okay, bye, Bunny fan. No issues. Got destroyed 5-0 in Sweden. I can see Devo getting called up since he will be 20 years old on June 15th. I think that they may let him. I think that he's going to. I think I'd like to see Dvorsky up, but I think he's going to start the year in Springfield. I think he will start next season in spring, unless he has a tremendous training camp. I think he starts next year in Springfield. Oh, I'm okay. Oh, that was Samantha. Hey, E, how you doing? I'm just trying to. I did this last minute, so I didn't get shared anywhere. Didn't get shared to any of the groups. Didn't get shared to my group. So I'm just kind of pumping it in there. And unfortunately, you're seeing stuff that I wish you wouldn't see. But that's dumb. Give me gum. I don't know. I'll change this to. There we go. Kind of change that around. I got a couple people that are popping in, but no one's staying. Oh, well. Share my live around. Share my live. Invite your friends, man. Invite your friends. I'll probably get people mad. Hey, E, how you doing? Hey, Matt Lowe, how you doing, buddy? You think they will resign Hopper? Absolutely. And they're going to have to do it soon. Because if they don't, he's going to get offer sheeted. In fact, what I think they may wait, because I think this happens a lot. And I've kind of paid it. I've paid some attention, and I've talked to it a little bit. I talked about it a little bit. Where I think offer sheets happen a lot more than what we think they do or what we see they do. I think what happens is a team goes and talks to an agent and says, hey, we're thinking about, doing this offer sheet, and they'll negotiate a deal. Okay. And then they'll come up and say, okay, fair enough, but we're just going to go to the other team so this doesn't look bad. And we're going to see, well, if they're willing to match right away and do that. And, if they do, great. If not, sorry. If they don't, we're here. And if they do, thank you for your interest, but we need to do that. And I think that's going to happen. Oh my God. I saw that on Jeremy Rutherford's thing. And I've get, dude, dude, I've given a lot of thought to this. A lot of thought to this. The St. Louis media, they act like all they act like they're the princesses, but they're the mean girls. Oh my God, are they the mean girls? And if you don't like them or you don't bow down and pay homage to them, they go after you. They go after you, and it is, and that's what I think's happening. I think that the St. Louis media is mean girls, and you see it all the time. You see it from Rutherford, you see it from Corrick. The only one you don't see it from is the Post-Dispatch guy whose name I can't think off the top of my head right now, but you don't see it from him. But a lot of the radio stations, you see it from the announcers. They're on Cairo every freaking, everything he does is wrong, right? And I think it's because he's not a media darling. The Franks, yeah, Matt the Franks. And he's the only one that doesn't do it, but I think that's because he's new. I just think it's because he's new. He's only been here a year, 2 years at the most, right? 2 years. So I give him, I give him, I understand, but I have a feeling he's going to come around to it. And it's a vicious circle because they say, well, that's what the people want to hear. Well, they're feeding it, They're feeding the frenzy. If they gave something else, the people would still feed off of it, right? But this is what they do, and it feeds the frenzy, and it's bad. I'll tell you, man. I think it is too, Bud, and I don't understand it. Yeah, I agree. I didn't get to see the press conference. I was working, but I heard about it, and yeah, that was a tough loss. That was a really, really tough loss, and that stings, and it's going to sit with you for a while. It's going to sit with them as players for a while, right? They threw the knockout punch. What was that game? Knockout? They threw that knockout punch, and they threw the first two knockout punches, and you got to throw the third, and they thought they threw it, but they didn't. Right? It was bad. I mean, if you've seen my TikTok or my short of what I played, what happened during it, I've played it. Right? I've played some of it. Man, something's going on with my internet today, it looks like. Hold on. So oh, here it is. This is from my TikTok, right? And this is for you guys. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. That stung. That stung. I mean, I've seen some other ones that have gone viral. You know, people the way they reacted. Mine didn't, but that's fine. You know, I don't ever expect my stuff to ever go viral now. I figured it out. It doesn't matter. I've done stuff. And then somebody's done it after me, and their shit's gone viral, and mine's died. Makes no fucking sense to me, but that's what it is. I had seen what it was really funny. I was driving the other day after I posted. So I think it was Wednesday, and I saw that somebody on TikTok had reposted, but when I saw it, it came up kind of quick on my phone while I was driving, and I thought it said reported. Gotta go for a minute. He's going to cry. That's where he's going. It was a mercy killing. I don't know about it being a mercy killing. Because if it had been a mercy killing, they would have scored another one and no overtime. Right? And it wasn't. So, got a couple people joining me. No one's staying and watching me on TikTok, but you know, I'm trying to get my TikTok time up. You know, do it for a little bit longer time and see how it goes. It is what it is, man. No, he wouldn't already sign. You see, that's a poor, and I like you, buddy, and you know that. It's a poor assessment. Guys like that on RFAs like that, they're gonna wait because they're gonna see what money they can get. And when you're a guy's on an RFA, so he in all actuality, it will cost another team has to offer sheet him, which could happen. But if they offer sheet, you have the right to match it. So unless somebody gives him stupid money, which gives you first round draft picks, right? Anything over $5 million, you start getting first round draft picks. Every million, it goes up a draft pick to 10 million, and then it's 5 first round draft picks. So, I mean, this is kind of smart on both ends, right? See if somebody's going to offer sheet you, and then go and take that to the team. What I was talking about. So no, that's a poor. That's not what's going on. Maybe you saying that's a poor judgment. It's not right either. But yeah. Thank you, E and Sam. I know I'm not getting a lot of viewers today. This is more just me coming on for a little bit, trying to talk myself out of a low mind day. Yeah, I have those kind of a lot. There we go. No, it's different with the RFAs. This is not one of them things. I mean, first of all, like I said, I think offer sheets happen more than we know, and secondly, I think they set. You know, it makes sense, right? Bennington has 2 years left. We have Colton Ellis, and Dole, who are both 24-year-olds. I believe they keep Hoffer and trade away Ellis. And you got Drzinko, who's younger than that, I think. Right? I do think Ellis gets traded. I thought Ellis was a little younger than that. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah. I could see Ellis getting traded, though he's 5th. Ellis is 5th on the depth chart. Right? I think Ellis is 5th. Maybe there's somebody else. Maybe there's somebody else I'm thinking of. Hold on. Now you're making me think about this. You're making me think about this, bud. I had it up earlier because I was looking at it because it was interesting to me. Okay, so when it comes to gold, man, my eyesight is shitty today. So we have Drzinko, Cranley, and Colton Ellis. Ellis had a really good season this year. They're Cranley is 23. Zerzinko and Ellis are both 24. Hoffer is also 24. They're really goaltender wise. We're sitting really good, right? Yeah, I went and double checked it, bud. You were right. I wasn't completely sure, but you were right. I think the one that if they trade anybody away, it'll be Cranley, right? Especially they've got Derzinko's the one that's the closest with his RFA. Cranley and Ellis, I mean, Ellis is way far away. He doesn't hit his RFA until 27, right? So there's some time there. I mean, if you look, so this is where we're at. Mackenzie McCachran's a UFA. He's probably not going to, I mean, that's going to be, if he signs, it's going to be the Thunderbirds are signing him, not the Blues. Corey Andronowski is a Group 6 free agent, meaning he's old enough, but he hasn't played enough. He's probably the same thing. I don't see him getting signed. Couple RFAs there on the minor league side, but I mean, I'm guessing they get signed. But in all reality, on the minor league side, we're fine. We only have 2 UFAs, Fosca and Suter, and I only see us keeping one of them. To be honest with you, I only see us keeping one of them. Maybe. Was it Cranley that got it might have been. Yeah, you might be right. I think Cranley did get re-signed. Yeah, that's why he's pushed out. Now that you say that, that makes sense. Or was it Ellis that got? No, I think it was Ellis that got re-signed. I think Ellis got re-signed. Kind of feel like it might have been Ellis that got re-signed. Not sure. One of them did. Maybe Sam knows. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not going to do this long today, guys. I just wanted to come on for a little bit, see if anybody wanted to talk some hockey, and if they do, great. If not, well, again, let back that off, okay? Let's back that off. And I talked about this a little earlier when it was brought up. There are no Kyrou rumors. There are none. This is media generated. I don't care. You know what? I'm a fucking outsider in the St. Louis media anyways. They don't look at me as nothing but a fanboy, and that's fucking fine. Oh, that might be. Is that going to be a penalty shot? Right? No penalty shot. 2-minute minor. I thought it might have been a penalty shot there. Yeah, I got called that by Corrick, Rutherford, the radio guys and the TV guy. I mean, I don't want to say their names because I kind of know them, but they have. Oh, bullshit. Funny. The St. Louis media are the mean girls, man. And if you're not, you don't bow down to them and worship them, they ostracize you. And that's what's happening with Kyrou. Right? Now, I will say this. Rutherford made some good points. His value is the highest that it's ever been. But he said, but it might be the highest that it's ever going to be. That I don't agree with. Right? Great point. Yeah, they haven't been, well, they've had, you count, I don't count the bubble year for them, but basically, yeah, they haven't been in the playoffs for a long time, for 16, what was it? No, 19, I don't think they made the playoffs. I don't know, they might have made the playoffs in 19, I can't remember. When we played one, no, I don't think they did. Yeah, they've been out, they've been missing for a while. And I think they're still going to be missing. I don't think they're a playoff team next year. All right, I don't think they're a playoff team next year. Right? I get that Kyrie's trade value is really high right now. But if you were to ask me, what is the one thing the Blues need? And I've been thinking about this because I want to do a year in review. And I've been working with that with my partner there, and with Justin, we're trying to figure something out because he ended up getting a job. But I'm trying to work something out with Justin that we can probably maybe record something, but do a year in review, grade the players in that. If you were to ask me, what is the one thing the St. Louis Blues need? My answer is the one thing they need might be the worst thing that they could get. Let me ask the five of you that are watching, what is the one thing that the St. Louis Blues need? What do you think it is? I know what I think it is. What do you think it is? What do you think is the one thing the St. Louis Blues need? Ooh, big hit. Did a butt dial. What is the one thing the Blues need? Maybe. I'm not going to completely agree with that, but I'm not going to completely disagree with that either. Right? Oh, God. I'm almost afraid to look. Yeah, I had a feeling. I knew it was going to be, no, I'm not going to show that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to show that. Showgirl in the locker room. Tarasenko back. No. As much as I would love that, that's not the one thing I think the St. Louis Blues need. It isn't. Isn't that what happened when Hoffman signed here 2 summers ago? Ooh, good point. And that was a little more than 2 summers ago. That was like 4 summers ago. That was in 2021. But yeah, good point. Right? Good point, E. But it was a little longer ago than that. The one thing that I think the St. Louis Blues need is also the one thing I think that they don't need. Duality, right? Where your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness. The one thing that we don't have is a superstar. We don't have that superstar scorer. We don't have that guy. We don't have that McCarr. We don't have that McKinnon. We don't have that Drysdale. We don't have that Matthews or Tavares. We got guys that are just under that in Thomas and Kyrou and maybe Bushnevich, but we don't have that guy that everyone looks at and goes, yeah, that's the face, that's him. The closest we have to that is Bennington. That's the closest we got. And the problem is, those guys, the majority of them are white collar guys, and they would destroy a blue collar locker room. So you have to be able to find that guy in the aggregate, right? You have to recreate him in the aggregate, as Moneyball would say, Billy Bean would say. And that is what is so important, to be able to do that. I kind of had a feeling that's where you were going, but I wasn't sure. That's why I said I agree, but I don't. I didn't agree with the number 2 center. I agreed with the winger. I think Kyrou could be that. I think Thomas is a year under Montgomery. Thomas is a 100-point guy. A little time he will be a star. Maybe. Well, you know what? We were only 2 minutes away from making the next round. That's it. Got to remember that. We were only 2 minutes away from making the next round. We weren't 2 minutes away from winning the cup. So, step back a little bit. What else we need is a younger defenseman on the Boberg level. Yeah, I could see that, but I'm okay with our defense right now. I think we can wait just a little bit of time. Not a lot of time, but a little bit of time. I think we can wait another year to get there. Maybe 2. Larkin is on the block. Ooh, that's isn't he a little old? Isn't he in his in mid-30s now? Dylan Larkin's a little bit older, isn't he? Right now I'm having a hard time seeing, so you got to give me a... Oh, no, I'm not touching Larkin. I'm not touching Larkin. I'm sorry. You want to give Larkin away? You're retaining half that salary for the next 4 years, right? I'm not touching him for 8.7, and he's got a full no trade clause, right? He's 28 years old. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that without, yeah, I'm not touching that. It is a bit old. I get that, but you're taking Krug out of there, so that brings it down a little bit. And I don't think Suter will be back. I know he wants to. I don't think he will be. Well, okay, but is that what do the Blues need a leader? I don't think the Blues need a leader. They need a blue-collar superstar, and I don't think there are any. I don't think Larkin is a blue-collar superstar. I think he's a white-collar guy. I could be wrong. I don't watch him enough or pay attention to him enough. But, that's kind of my thought process there. And I don't want to bring a guy in. I don't want to have 3 guys making $8 million plus. And that's what you would have. You would have 4 guys, because next season, Bushnevich extension kicks in and he's making $8 million. So I'm hesitant on Larkin there. I'm hesitant. He's a perfect blue. Oh, you meaning that he would destroy our team, Dr. Detroit? um, well, no, first of all, I don't touch him without. I'm kind of watching Biz be an idiot. Here's the thing: I don't touch it. First of all, you're retaining half that salary for the 4 years remaining easily, right? That if you're not talking about salary retention, talk is over, right? Hold on a second. I really don't know Larkin well enough, and I'm admitting that I don't know him well enough. Right? I'm trying to pull this stuff up. My eyesight for some reason, guys, is really bad. So I got to make things a little bit bigger so I can kind of see what I'm looking at. 70 points, 0.85 points per game, 40 penalty minutes, 14 minutes on. Yeah, see? I'm looking at these numbers. And I'm not paying that salary for him. Right? I'm not paying that salary. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not paying that salary for him. I'm retaining it. I'm asking for retainer. Yeah, and the Leafs haven't won a cup in forever. Yeah, why not? We need to see if that last link I sent you works. Should. It might. I don't know. That's fair enough. Matt Lowe, be nice. I don't think he's gonna troll me. And he doesn't. He's usually nice when he comes on here. Right? Hey, Jason Nichols. Come on, Matt Lowe. Be nice a little bit, bud. Please. I'm requesting. I bought the Taco Bell crispy nuggets. First of all, I bought like a 8-pack and they gave me a 6-pack. And they were nothing special. At all. At all. Right? Maybe. I don't think he will. Because what salt's he gonna? I mean, he doesn't even know what the playoffs are. It's been so long. Doesn't it raise a red flag when they want to part with him? Yes and no. You know what? You don't have to get sarcastic. I mean, but you don't have to be mean either, right? I'm not a Hawks fan, but I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be mean to Windy, right? There's a fine line. There's a fine line. Let's put it that way, right? I don't know. I just look. I don't. The Blues had a good season. They were. I mean, I said 5th place, maybe 6th. I can't remember. I said 5th or 6th. I think I said 5th, and I said that it would be 4-4, so they would just miss the playoffs, right? And they got in. So, you look at the stat sheets for them, and for the most part, I'm relatively. I mean, I think they overperformed. Oh, excuse me. Right? Uh, points per game. I'm kind of looking at that right now. Robert Thomas was the best player in the NHL after the Four Nations face-off, and he ended up with a 1.16 points per game, which I think translates out because he only played 70 games. That translates to about 93 points, right? And now you think, most of the time he missed was under Montgomery. So I think it was. I can't completely remember for sure. So a full year under Montgomery, I can see him being a point per. I could see him being a 100-point player, right? What do you think, Wendy?
I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about right now.
Robert Thomas.
100-point player. I'm saying more so a 90-point player.
Well, I mean that's what he played at this year, 93 points.
Yeah, I think that's where he's at.
But remember, the first part of the year he didn't have Montgomery. Now he's going to have some of what he missed was his injured time was with Montgomery, right? Was during Montgomery. So it's leading me to think that he 1.16 times 82, 95 points. So I would think that he's right. I mean, he's on the cusp of a 100-point player, right? Nazar and Matt Lowe's being nice because I asked him to. Our 100-point players guy. I don't think Bedard could be. I don't think he is now. I don't think he's close. Is he?
He had 65 this year. The thing with the Hawks right now, there's going to be a super young team next year. Yeah. If we get a player close to 85 to 90 points, that's going to be that will be Connor Bedard. But it's going to be a season of growth pains next coming season because how young this team's going to be.
Yeah, just a nibble of goons like Kadri and the Rat. No, I'm kind of with you. But look, Bedard is good, but he's not the superstar. I don't think at least he hasn't shown to me yet that he's the superstar everybody thought he was. He's not the next Gretzky, and everyone said he was. And I don't see him being there yet. I don't even see him being close. And I could be wrong, but I just don't see it.
He just had his 18 and 19 seasons in the books. This year he's turning 20.
Yeah.
He's finally going to not be a teenager in the NHL.
Didn't Gretzky score 200-something points as a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old?
You can't compare eras like that. Gretzky's era is a bunch of guys who couldn't even lift the puck.
Right? I'm just saying. I mean, everybody's comparing him to that.
Yeah, I agree with Jason here. If you give Bedard some offense around him, he's going to be a 100-point player. Which, if the Hawks do what they are rumored to do, he could be a 100-point season as soon as next season. I will say that. There's speculation the Hawks will be out there going in after Mitch Marner and Sam Bennett.
If I'm Bennett, maybe. If I'm Marner, there's no way I'm going to Chicago.
It's a better, for Marner's sake, I think he would have a better opportunity of not having to deal with media in Chicago compared to what he has to deal with in Toronto every night, or also being recognized on the streets every night in Toronto. If he's in Chicago, fans may recognize him, but they won't over introduce, like, come in and try and get autographs over time. Like,
But why? If he's leaving Toronto, there's only one reason he's leaving Toronto.
he's getting money, and Chicago could offer him a ton of money.
Right here.
I mean, he has an opportunity to. Here's the thing: the Maple Leafs could go up 3-0 tonight. They're winning 2-1 over the Panthers, and the Maple Leafs are playing some strong hockey right now. I think it's going to be more difficult to re-sign a player like Marner if they win the Cup because of the quote-unquote Stanley Cup tax.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Maple Leafs are kind of cap-strapped. The Hawks are a team who will be going into the offseason with a ton of money to play with.
And if they win the Cup, that changes the conversation. If they don't win the Cup, that's what I'm looking at right now. Toronto doesn't win the Cup. If I'm Marner, I'm not going to Toronto. If I'm Marner, he needs a Cup. He needs a Cup to solidify his reputation, his legacy, right? Matthews has already signed there long term. Matthews needs one too, but he can't go somewhere. Marner, if he's going somewhere and he doesn't have the Cup, he's going somewhere where he can get a Cup. And I think Chicago, at bare minimum, is 4 years away from a Cup, from contending for a Cup.
I'm saying 3.
If you're Marner, how old is Marner now? And I don't know off the top of my head.
Marner will be
28?
29 next season, if I remember correctly. I could check real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, so hey, I just came on last minute, Chris, so it's no big deal, buddy. By the way, Chris
Marner is going to be he just turned 28 yesterday, actually.
Okay.
No, not yesterday, 4 days ago.
Okay. Hey, everybody, take a moment out if you can. If you've got Chris Shockey friended, send him and Leanne a happy anniversary. I think it was 14 years, 15 years, something like that. So happy anniversary to both you guys. Thank you very much. Wayne says 29 in May. Are you sure?
No, he just turned 28 on May 4th.
Okay. 17 years. 17 years. That's what I thought it was. I wasn't completely sure, and I didn't want to mess it up. But happy anniversary, Chris. I consider you and Leanne to be family. I love you both to death. I love your whole family to death. Thank you. Congratulations, guys. Have a great day. And thanks for joining me, Chris. I really appreciate it. I want to, I know you hate talking about the Blues sometimes, but I want to slip back to the Blues a little bit, if you don't mind, for a little bit.
All right.
Right? If you, taking out your Blackhood fanhood, your hockey fanhood, just NHL fanhood, if you're looking at St. Louis, what's the one thing that you think St. Louis needs?
A defenseman.
See, that's like not where I would. Why would you say that?
You guys have a good system for offense now. Your goaltending is solid. I don't think you guys have a true number 1 or number 2 defenseman in your.
Oh, I think we have a true number 1. I think Parayko's a true number 1. Right? I mean, he's not a goal-scoring defenseman, but he gets out there. He plays power play. He plays penalty kill. He's got a killer slap shot. He doesn't use it enough, but he's got it. He's got all the tools, and he's getting better. Okay, now Wayne. Okay, when I say something like this, Wayne immediately goes and looks it up. 212 points for Wayne with 92 goals at 20 years old. Right, and I want to say at 20, McDavid was like 120 or 130 points, somewhere in that era. Okay, hey Wayne, can you look that up for me? How many points did McDavid have in his age 20 season? Oh my goodness.
100 points.
100 points his age 20 season?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Which was his second year in the NHL.
Colton has a play on that much. I think he means power play. That much. He's a number 2. Okay, fair enough. I know he did move down. He did move away from the power play a little bit because of minutes. He was hitting, close to 28 minutes a game if he's on the power play. So, okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Chris. Fair enough. For me, I think they need the superstar, but I don't want one. At the same time, they need one. So the name brought up was Larkin, right? That Larkin was on the block.
I don't see Larkin going to St. Louis.
First of all, at 8.7 mil for the next 4 years, he's age 28. I'm not willing to pay that money. You're retaining salary, first of all. If that's not the first thing in your mouth, out of your mouth is retained salary, I'm not even.
He's worth the money.
4 guys making 8 mil on one team.
Larkin at 8 mil.
8.7.
What?
He's at 8.7.
I'm still saying he's worth the type of money he's getting. What you get with Larkin, you get leadership, speed, offense, and actually a little bit of a grit to his game. He does not get pushed around much when he's on the puck. He's a type of player who can control play. And
so here's what I do. This would be my trade. Maybe I'm probably going to get called a complete idiot for it. Kyrou for Larkin straight up.
I wouldn't do it.
If
I was St. Louis, I would not do that trade.
Would not do it? Would you want more?
You're giving up a younger player.
Yeah.
And I would not do that type of trade.
Kyrou and a first, Larkin and a first for Kyrou.
If I'm St. Louis, I would do that trade. But if I'm Detroit, I won't do that trade.
Hofer's going to be easy. Boberg and Holloway, you don't have to sign till next year, right? And no, I wouldn't trade Kyrou either. I would not trade Kyrou. I'm just telling you, if you're going to do a trade for Larkin and you're bringing in that 8.7 million, you got, and it's 3-1 by now, by the way, for Toronto.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Yeah. Bushnevich in a first and maybe a second for Larkin. No, I wouldn't give up that much.
A team that would fit Larkin probably easy would be Chicago, I would say.
Larkin's not going to go to another rebuilding team. Larkin's just spent, 5 years on a rebuilding team?
His entire career he's been with Detroit.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's not going to a rebuilding team. I'm telling you that right here, right now. Oh wow, that was close. Oh, you know what? That's in the net.
I don't think it is. Oh yeah,
No,
it
it
is. There it is.
Yeah, that's going to be in the net, depending on when it's when the whistle blew
Yeah.
or when the referee intended to blow the whistle. I don't think he intended to blow the whistle.
He had his
I don't think he was
whistle
pushed
going
in.
up.
That's a goal. That's a goal. I'm sorry, that's a goal. And here's my other thing: his gloves completely covering the puck. That makes it a goal there. Yeah, that's a goal. That's a goal. So it looks like it's going to be 3-2.
Oh, this is a West Macaulay game.
Butchie, I would trade. Trading Bushnevich is not a problem. I'm not giving up the picks. Oh, that's a goal. That's a goal.
Yeah.
That's an obvious goal.
It's in there.
Yeah.
I just wonder if the ref, because I did see when the ref went up to the goal, he was putting his hand up towards his mouth.
But they do that a lot, but that doesn't mean that they're going to blow the whistle. They're getting ready to blow the whistle, but
which is the intention to blow. We'll see what happens here.
Yep. We have a goal. Yeah. I don't think the whistle was ever blown, right? And actually, so in that case, they will put the whistle in their mouth, but that's not intention to blow. They're getting ready to blow if needed, but that's not intention to blow. Right? I would do Bushnevich in a second for Larkin. I would not do the first. Because to me, Bushnevich is the first. Right? Bushnevich is equal to a first-round player. Right? Yes, intent counts as blowing the whistle. Putting the whistle in your mouth is not intent. Just putting it in your mouth is not intent. Right? People don't understand the locker room. If you trade Kyrou, go ahead and trade Thomas because that room's not going to be the same. Great point. 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 I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Right? Actually, with Bushnevich's age, I would go Bushnevich in a third for Larkin. I wouldn't go a second. What do you think on that, Wendy?
It would have to be more than a third.
Would you do the second?
A second and maybe a fourth.
Second and a prospect?
Yep, I would say a second and a
mid-tier prospect. Mid-tier prospect.
Yeah, I could say so, but I don't think Larkin's getting traded to St. Louis.
3-3.
Wow, that was nice.
That was fast.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I can't see Larkin going to St. Louis.
Peterson wants out of Vancouver. Would you go after him?
No. Here's what's wrong with Elias Pettersson. His game has not proven in the last 2 years that he can maintain high-level offense. He hasn't been the same player since his rookie year. He's not really... He seems like he's just not into the game much.
Could that be where he's playing?
I don't think so. He's the number one center in Vancouver. And I just don't think Elias Pettersson, or as of now, is worth... His value is at the lowest it's ever going to be. There's been talks with Blackhawk fans who want to go after Elias Pettersson, and I'm like, he's not going to be any help for a team, really.
Well,
At this
first
point.
of all, here's another guy that's not going to a rebuilding team.
1 minute.
Right? Okay. Here's another guy that's not going to a rebuilding team. That's I think it's an interesting prospect. I understand what Wendy's saying, but maybe it is that burntness. And maybe going with the guy that he beat out for the Calder. I don't know. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Yeah. That's true. That's true. By the way, if you're on X, check out guy.bensing or guy_bensing. Let me try and bring it up here real quick. I have a couple of polls going on there. They haven't gone off really, really good, but I got them going for 2 more days. 24 votes, 32 votes, 51 votes. I got 3 polls going. Right? Let's see here. Just a second, Wendy. Share screen. So on guy.bensing, you can see it here. Oh, no, you can't see it because I haven't put it up yet. There we go. Now you can see it. Guy.bensing, I have a couple of polls. Go and answer them. What was the worst moment from the St. Louis Blues season? Getting beat 8-1 twice. Game 7, goalie goal in the home opener or other. You can comment below. Who is the best defensive player? Colton Parayko, Justin Falk, Cam Fowler, other. Probably should have put Boberg instead of Falk, but nobody's commented in the other there. What was the best moment from the season for the Blues? The Winter Classic, the offer sheets, hiring Monty or other. There's been a couple others. And then there's one more poll. Who is your St. Louis Blues MVP this season? I did not put my MVP because I didn't want to get laughed at. But I still think because the way I value MVP, that he is my MVP. And there was one comment, I think. Well, somebody was supposed to comment below, and I don't think they did. So no comments on that, right? At least I don't see any comments. Yeah. So they put other, but didn't tell me who. There we go. All right. Actually, I'm going to stop. I was on TikTok, but it looks like TikTok might not be. Oh, there it is. It looks like TikTok wasn't working there for a moment. Okay. I got you. So did you hear those polls, Wendy?
Yeah.
Any of them that you would like care to answer or stuck out in your head?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Just
because
ask.
I don't support St. Louis.
No, I get it. And I wouldn't be able, if you'd asked me those same questions with the Blackhawks, I couldn't answer any of them. Right?
Mhm.
Like, but I think there's one I could answer. Like, one of my answers would be on one of your polls.
Like, what would it be?
Worst moment, the Winter Classic.
Definitely the Winter Classic.
Right? I think that would be on your poll.
Yeah. Team MVP would be Ryan Donato in Chicago. Best defenseman's Alex Vlasic. Best moment for the Blackhawks? Probably the youth push.
Yeah.
After the trade deadline, or trading Steph Jones for Spencer Knight.
So I was looking at some of the comments, right? I do think Peterson could be a little bit of burnout, and the team he's been playing on. How many coaches have they gone through since
Vancouver's probably has had 5 coaches since he's been
5 coaches in what, 7 years?
something like that.
Yeah, that's a little too much. I'd say Holloway MVP. So my MVP is off the map. No one. If I tell you my MVP, I'm going to get laughed at. Some of you already know it, right? My Blues MVP is not who you think it is, and I have one reason for it. MVP stands for most valuable player. So what player on your team provided the most value to your team? And I can think of one player who was a healthy scratch one game, and you could see the difference in play when he was not on the bench. The next day he comes back and the Blues start a 12-game winning streak. I think that's when it was. It might have been right around that era. I could be wrong. But when this player is in the lineup, he raises the entire team to a different level. And it's not on the score sheet always, but it's what he brings. And my MVP is Nathan Walker. Right? And I've said that before, and I know it's probably crazy, and that's why I didn't put him there, because I didn't want people to laugh at me. But when I look at it that way, my MVP is Shin, creating the culture and rebuilding. I know he's responsible because all the rookies live with him. I think only one rookie lives with him. I don't think Dvorsky lived with him, but I know, well, Dvorsky might have spent a couple of days with him. I did too. To be honest with you, I don't think it's Shen that brought the culture back. I don't. Right? You
Weren't
talk
they
about
trying to
that.
trade him before the deadline?
Mm-hmm. Well, they made him available and they listened to offers, but he had a no trade and he kind of said he wanted to stay there. But, if they, he was willing to listen to offers. So there was some offers there.
Mm-hmm.
David Gill says Walker's is the hardest worker hands down. Now neighbors live with him. Snoogie lives with him now. Okay. I did know that neighbors lived with him for a little bit. I did know that. Shin is a big time leader for sure. I don't think that's my point. I think it's Monty that brought the culture back. I don't think it was Shin, because there was a point during that 12-game winning streak where Shin did a interview and he said there's a lot of love in this room and it hasn't been there for a while. Well, you know what? That was your job the entire time, was to bring that love back to the locker room, and you couldn't do it. It was Monty that did it. So that's why I'm not as high on Shin as other people might be. Right? I don't think we didn't need a team. We didn't need a I'm the fault guy. We didn't need that as a captain because it didn't work with O'Reilly. We all thought it would, but it got to a point where the guy said, fuck it. If he's going to take all the blame, why am I going to try? Right? I mean, that was obvious to me, and it destroyed the locker room. So they needed a guy that was going to get on him a little bit, and maybe Thomas was a little young for that. But I think Thomas, if it's time to make a captain change, it's time for Thomas. Plain and simple. Sorry about that, Wendy.
It's all good.
I was gonna ask, Dan, I had a question for you. Let's just go in the Central Division, right?
Okay.
Our division, right? Biggest surprise in the division.
Biggest surprise in the division?
Yeah.
You guys?
Us? I think it's Winnipeg winning. For me, it's Winnipeg winning the
President's Trophy?
President's Trophy. I mean, we had them up there, but we didn't have them being the best team in the league, right? Biggest disappointment.
Biggest disappointment in the division?
Mhm.
I would say how, for my point of view, is the Hawks on how they played for this first half of the season before the youth push.
Right.
Maybe Nashville.
I had the Hawks down there, and you're right. But I think the biggest disappointment is Nashville. Right. I think Nashville's the biggest disappointment. I had the Hawks down there. I know you didn't. I know you had them a little higher, but I thought. I mean, I thought Nashville was going to win the division. I really did. But too many chefs and not enough cooks destroyed that. Matt Lowe saying, I don't know. I see in the end of this season presser where guys like Kairu is giving Shen praise by bringing the culture back when 2 years ago they were fighting at practice. Okay, I mean, fair enough, but I'm just still there. Horrible showing after spending all that money in FA. Yeah, right. I think that's Wayne. I think that's Wayne there. Wayne Harder. I think that's who that is. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Who is your Vezina winner in the Central?
Connor Hellebuck.
See, I struggle with that. I see where you're going, but Pennington.
It's Connor Hellebuck mainly because he is a Vezina finalist, or as is, and he's a Hart finalist.
Okay, I get it, but I don't want to just discount.
I'm not counting playoffs into it because you don't count playoff stats to regular season stats.
I know, I get it, but I didn't want to discount what Bennington did. Bennington was probably the second best goalie in that division.
Jake Ottinger's up there.
Ottinger's up there too, yes. Right? That was during the playoffs, and Wendy's right. Hold on, Natlo. During the playoffs, that stuff doesn't count. Playoffs don't count for end of season awards. That's why they have a separate MVP for the playoffs. Right? So I mean, I would have to agree with Hellebuck. Now, I'm not going to agree with Hellebuck as the Hart in the Central.
Who would you say is your Hart in the Central?
Thomas.
I'm saying it's Hellebuck.
Most points of any player after the Four Nation break.
Okay.
Most points. Injury time, point per player game. He did it. He plays every position. He plays penalty kill. He plays power play, 5-on-5, 4-on-4, overtime, shootout. He does it all. He's one of the main reasons that team made it to the playoff. Right? Played 70 games. I'm going to go with Thomas there. I don't have a problem with you going with Hellebuck because I get it. But I'm looking at this to a different light.
Yeah, but I'm also looking at the fact without Hellebuck, Winnipeg might actually be the 7th worst team in the Central Division.
I could see that. That's not a bad guess. That's not a bad one either. McKinnon's not bad either.
McKinnon's up there, but I would have to go with Hellebuck.
So part of the reason, because I know you're discounting Blues just because they're Blues.
It's also I'm looking into what the players did during the season, and also if they are actually nominated for the actual award itself.
Okay,
and Hellebuck is a nominee for the award.
Okay, fair enough. Who is the most improved player?
Most improved player. Ooh, that one. That one actually belongs to a Chicago Blackhawk, in my opinion.
Okay.
And that is Ryan Donato.
I'm gonna have to go Cam Fowler.
I'm going Ryan Donato because at the start of the year under Luke Richardson, he was a healthy scratch. Donato was the leading goal scorer for the Blackhawks, scoring more than 30 goals on the team this year. Last year, he wasn't even close to that.
No, I'm not discounting that. I get where you're going. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd have to co-mine and say Fowler and Suter because they both rejuvenated their careers after going to St. Louis.
Okay.
Right? At least that's the way it feels to me. Right?
Also, Ilya Mikheyev's up there.
Huh?
For Ilya Mikheyev as well should be, from a Blackhawks standpoint, should be getting a nod for it because the Blackhawks got him in a trade with Vancouver last year. Vancouver dumped him with a second-round pick for future considerations for the Blackhawks because he only had one goal all year last year and he had more than 20 goals this year. And he led the team in shorthanded goals as well.
Fair enough. I mean, we're just spitballing here.
I know.
Just talking, having fun. 3-3. It looks like this is going to go to overtime.
It's still the second period.
Oh, is it? I thought it was the third.
Yeah, it's the second.
Oh, no, second. Yeah, still in the second. Wow. The intensity this is in the third.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I thought, because of the intensity, the way this game ramped up so quick, it felt like it was in the third.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong about that? Or did it have that feel to that thing?
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. Well, the first goal of the game came 23 seconds into it.
Right. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to talk about. I just kind of was just spitballing along. Just wanted to talk some hockey for a while and get out of my head for a little bit.
I'm just waiting for the day when white smoke comes out of the UC saying we have a new head coach.
That's okay. I'll take that's a good one. Let's talk about this. I have a very different opinion than a lot of people on this one, and I know it's probably going to get me in trouble, but as we all know, Coach Joel Quenneville, was hired by the Anaheim Ducks. I think this is a good hire. He is entering the Ducks about the same time that he entered the Blackhawks.
Yeah, he is.
Right? Young players, talented players,
I just wonder
players. Huh?
I just wonder how Trevor Zegras is going to work under Coach Q.
That's the X factor there. Right? Is Coach Q going to allow him to stay creative?
He let Patrick Kane do whatever he wanted, so I guess he might actually.
Yeah, but there's a difference between doing whatever you want and being creative.
Well, Kane was pretty creative with his plays.
Yeah, but he didn't try and flip the puck over the back of the net to another player to bat it in.
He would utilize the spinorama so much, though.
Yeah.
And back when Kane came into the league, you didn't see plays like the spinorama utilized like it was when Kane came into the league. I get it that spinorama's as old as since the 80s by Dennis Savard, a Blackhawk all-time great, but Patrick Kane perfected the spinorama.
Do you have a problem with Coach Quenneville getting another job in the NHL?
No.
Me either. And
I have more of a problem that Stan Bowman has another job in the NHL.
I would agree with that. Right? I put more emphasis on what happened on Bowman than I do anybody else. Right?
I would say John McDonough should be the person who has the most, should have had the most backlash, but
who was that? I don't remember the name.
The CEO of the Blackhawks at the time.
Right.
John McDonough, this is who was in the meeting when the scandal happened. John McDonough, the CEO of the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Stan Bowman, the GM of the Blackhawks. Joel Quenneville, the head coach of the Blackhawks. And I believe, was it the current GM of the Winnipeg Jets? I always forget his name. He was there, but didn't have much of a role into any of it.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember his name either.
the Cheval Kevin Cheval
Yeah.
But I still say Stan Bowman should not be allowed back.
Well,
but
yeah.
Joel Quenneville, he's also been out of the game for 4 years. Game
Okay.
has
4-3.
Yep. The game has kind of changed since Coach Q kind of left the league.
Yeah.
4
it has
years
changed.
ago.
Well, so here's the way I look at this, right? I think about this in the military, right? We go through these inspections. And when you're going through an inspection, the preparing for it and all that, it's almost, you could compare it to the Stanley Cup playoffs in a way, right? There are points where I'll be honest with you. If someone would have brought something like this to me as a leader, as a frontline, like I would be considered maybe the captain of the team, right? And I brought this up to my chief, who would be considered the coach. I would not be surprised if my chief would have said, I don't have fucking time for this. I wouldn't have been surprised at all. At all. And if it didn't get kicked up, I would have understood it. Now, when that inspection was done, I would have brought it back and brought it up again and say, hey, we need to revisit this. And then if he would have thrown me off, then yeah. That was my biggest issue in all of this, is that after they won the cup, it was never brought back. It was never redealt with. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I understand where you're trying to go off of, but I'm also saying this. Coach Q should have been suspended by the league, and he rightfully was. Now
I don't have a problem with him being suspended by the league.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a problem with it being an indefinite suspension.
Yes, but he was also reinstated last year, last July, which would have made it a 3-year suspension.
Come on, Matt Lowe, dude. Hold on. Matt Lowe, look, I get it, man. I get you don't like Wendy, but don't be a dick. You're really pushing my buttons. You don't have to go there. It was a bad situation. Don't be a jackass. You're really pissing me off, and I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you, dude, but you need to chill out. You really do. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that, Wendy.
And Coach Q still did it wrong back in 2010. He should have done more by getting the law enforcement involved back in 2010, which he did not, nor did anyone above him, such as Bowman and John McDonough. And McDonough made it where the owner of the team, Rocky Warts at the time, had no clue about any of this going on. McDonough is the person.
I put the blame higher up. I get Q being suspended. I thought it should have been a 1 year.
I'm fine with it being a 3-year suspension, which it ended up becoming a 3-year suspension.
I get it. Well, after that blow up, I think I need to take a break.
Okay.
I'm just going to end the show here, Wendy. I don't want to go on. I don't want to
Yep.
get Matt Lowe. I don't want to piss somebody off, but at the same, and I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I and I get it. I know you have thicker skin than me, and when some of the stuff Matt Lowe says, you can let go, and I try and let it go. But it when it gets personal, I have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you for coming on, Wendy, and I appreciate you for being the friend that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, thanks, man. I don't know when I'll be back. I want to do a year in review. It might be recorded. I'll try something. Have a great time. Bye, guys.